Hello, this is Voxide, and in this video I will walk you through how you can edit this project and everything else you will need to know in order to get started with using this template. So here I am inside the project file, and the very first thing you will notice is that we are inside the composition called render, which you can access from your render folder up here at the top. So you can double click this composition render and you can simply access the composition where you'll be doing all of your editing. So let's go over the settings, and here you can see you have a settings layer, and if I go to my effects control here at the top, you can see all of the colors that you can adjust. And let's get started with the background. And let's change this to a green. Alright, here you can see it updating. Let's change the transition color maybe. Oh, so the transition color is the color at the start, the ring that sort of fades in the whole composition. So you can also adjust this color here. Let me change this real quick to show. Alright, so here you can see it, and let's choose another frame here. Let's use half resolution, just so we are working in a little bit more higher detail. Element 1 will be a part of the lights, so let's change this. Let's set this to red. Alright, so you can see element 1 is these sort of high-techy elements that are floating around. Let's change this background back to a blue. Alright, so that's element 1. Element 2 will be, let's change this to a green. Alright, so element 2 are some additional floating HUDs, and we have two elements for this, just so you have more control over the colors. So for example, you can choose the same color if you want, like so, but you can also choose two colors for this. Alright, let's go over lights. Let's change the lights so you can see the change, what changes here. The center will be the light in the center. Let's change this to a red. Alright, and you can also control the color for the logo. Alright, and this is pretty much it. And then inside your project file, you can go to your holder composition. So double click this holder comp to access. Here you can see I have a logo placed, and you can go ahead and delete this. And if you double click here and import your logo, you can go ahead and then drag and drop it inside the holder composition, and it will work with the logo. Here you can see that I have another text layer. So if I enable the visibility for this, this is the top 10 text, and if I go back inside the render here, you can see it working now. And going back inside the holder composition, you can adjust this text simply by double clicking. And for example, let's use just a simple number, so 5. Let's just scale this. And this font is called DS Digital, and it's available on thefont.com. Alright, so going back in the render, here you can see it adjusted. Alright, but you can use pretty much any text. You can also use, for example, you can write something, for example. So you can write a word, for example. Although it wasn't meant for words, but rather a logo and numbers. You can also see it works with any layer basically, and you can use any font here. So for example, let's use 7, and be mindful of the scale you're using here because it will affect the final render. Right, center this and going back inside. Here you can see it working with any font. So that's about it for this. After you've done editing this, you can go to composition, pre-render, and just make sure you click inside the costume AV here, and I recommend you going with format H264. For format options, you can use profile high, levels 5.1, target bitrate should be 50, and maximum bitrate should be 100 for high quality. Hit OK. Don't forget to turn on audio, and then hit OK and render. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see ya.